is. Git is a distributed software revision control system. It allows you to keep revisions of your source files. That's hosted at git-scm.com, and there you'll find loads of documentation about Git. Git was created by Linus Torvalds. He's also the creator of the Linux kernel. And Linus uses Git to store the Linux kernel software. So it's very stable, very powerful. So what is GitHub? GitHub is actually a web application for storing your hosted Git repositories. And let me show you the front page. I'm going to go ahead and log out. And you'll see just how popular it is. Used by many different companies. And GitHub for open source software is free of charge. And I use it quite a bit for all of my open source projects. And I'll go ahead and log in. Also, it's very social. If you're familiar with social networking and Facebook and whatnot, you'll understand what that means. So I can follow developers, and developers can follow me. On the left-hand side, I actually have a news feed of the activities of developers. So, for instance, in Bostock, edited a particular repository, and J.J. Allaire created a tag for our studio repository. And if I go into one of these repositories, you'll see that the GitHub.com website shows me everything I would like to know about my repository. It shows me the contents, the actual files in the repository. I can click on one of these and it will show me the actual contents of the files themselves. I can look at the history of these files. I can also go down and look at the different commits on the files. So it's quite powerful. So the other important thing to know about GitHub is they have something called gists, and these are simple Git repositories, and they're ways to share snippets of code throughout the internet. So, for instance, I've got some on here, and you see here I created a gist. And the gists are named by, just a string of digits. And anyone, and I can create this gist, and it can be for public consumption. So anyone who knows about my gist can come here and write a comment about it. Also, if anyone would like to fork the gist, they can do so. And what that'll do is it makes a copy of the gist and allows them to edit the gist and make changes to it. And those changes are only reflected on their fork of the gist itself. The other important thing about gists is that they can be embedded into other web pages. And by clicking on this little link and copying this little HTML code snippet, if you place that in any other web page, then this entire window here, which contains the contents of the gist and the name of the files in the gist, appear. So now let's go through just a simple tutorial on some of the most important commands in Git. So I've got an SSH window open to my Linux computer, and I've got Git installed here on the command line. I'm in a temporary folder. So git init, what does git init do? It creates a new empty repository. And a repository is basically a folder or a directory on your computer. What I can do is I can copy files into that folder, and I'll just take the raw contents of this particular file. So another important command is status. So if I type git status here in my test repo, you'll see I get a message, and it tells me I have an untracked file called a.plot.r, which I just downloaded with the wget command. What I can do is I can use the git command add to actually add a file to a new commit, which I haven't created yet. So I can type git add a.plot. Now if I type git status again, you'll see now that the status message has now changed the a.plot.r file to a new file in our commit. Now I can type git commit. And this has created a revision into my test repo repository. Now if I edit this file, I'm going to add a new require statement. And I'll save it. Now if I type git status, it shows me that I have a modification to a tracked file, the a.plot.r. I can type git log, or no, I want to type git diff, and this shows me the new changes that I've made to the a.plot.r file. I can then add that again to a new commit. Now I can type git log, and this will show me all of the commits that have been done on my test repo.